It's finally April again, and 1 year after the anime season was demolished by a pandemic, we're still recovering from the effects. But new anime is still rare, and I'm here to look at it again for you as ever. I've got 4 new shows to look at today. I'm going to let you know what I think of them. Let me know in the comments what shows you like, what shows you didn't like, even if you disagree with me or agree with them. If there's any shows I've missed, let me know in the comments as well, so I know which ones to watch. Because this is a 2021 spring anime preview from a different perspective. Let's start by talking about Koikimo. It's a romance anime about a romance which really shouldn't happen. You got this office worker and you got this cute young girl, high school student. There's nothing wrong with that really, is there? But with Koikimo, we're introduced quite early on to what type of character our main guy, Ryo, is. He's, for all intents and purposes, a scumbag, a playboy. He's got a girl hanging off his arm every single night, and it's a different girl every single night. Until one day on his way to work, he sort of is retired because he was kept up all night by some girl he doesn't like, and starts falling downstairs until this other cute girl, who now learned is Ichika, saves him. In a cute way of doing it, she manages to hook his collar with her umbrella, which again works, but it's not the usual way to try and save someone from falling downstairs. Now, Ryo, for some reason, ends up besotted with her. She saved his life and she doesn't really want any kind of reward for it. And she's so bored about him being so hungry and being so sleepy, she gives him her lunch. And it's not just any lunch, it's just a proper schoolgirl's lunch. Later on that night, she finds out that actually it's her best friend's brother. Now, her best friend Ryo is a troublemaker. And she sees how her brother's reacting to Ichika, finding out who she is. And she sees Ichika being, oh, I don't really want to deal with this person, get away from me please, you're a stalker. But she decides to play a bit of trouble. She decides to kind of help Ryo get to know her friend. It's kind of like setting up Ichika for her brother. Whether or not she intends to do it just because she thinks it's a good idea, or because she wants to just cause trouble for her best friend, who knows. But one way or the other, Ryo starts messing around with it, and Ryo gets closer to Ichika, and comedy happens. It's a comedy romance, this anime. Now, this anime has a kind of icky premise. You got this mid-20s office worker falling in love with a high school girl. Now, we're not told how old she is, but so far it's playing the line quite well. It's not being icky about it, it's being funny about it. Ryo's affections come across obsessive but not aggressive. If ever he starts getting aggressive, this show will cross that line. If ever she starts acting like a lovesick schoolgirl, they'll cross a line. Because in this relationship, no matter how it looks, he's the one who's going to hold all the power, being the older person. He's experienced, he knows what he's doing. She is a cute girl with millions of cute faces, but that doesn't stop her from being a cute innocent high school girl. In today's world, that's a questionable thing to start airing. Now, Koikimo, It's Too Sick to Call This Love, is a great show altogether anyway. I liked the first episode, it sort of wowed me over with its simplicity of the plot. And its characters, the main 3 characters, Ichika, Ryo and Ryo, are all brilliant. Ichika is sweet, innocent and has the most expressive face I've seen in ages. Ryo, while being a bit of a scumbag, is a likeable scumbag. And Ryo just fantastic troublemaker. I like them. If you are interested in watching Koikimo, you can find it airing over at Crunchyroll. Next up we have Joran, the Princess of Snow and Blood. It's a sort of historical setting of an anime, although it's not our history, it's an alternative history with demons. It's one of them anime. Well, our main character is a character called Yukimura Sawa, and she is as cold as ice. She looks like she's painted her face white like a classic Japanese lady. She's black hair, she's almost chilling to watch. She doesn't really have any emotion. She runs a bookstore, which is fine. She also lives with her cute little sister. I'm assuming it's a little sister. They seem to get on like sisters would do. I don't think it's a daughter. Maybe not related, who knows. And this is a weird world because even though it's sort of like Japanese history, it's a Japanese history where the Tokugawa never relinquished power. They're now still in control. And not only that, I've managed to find a brand new power source, this weird red glowy stuff. So I've got almost like these power cables running across the city. So the power cables have built a ginormous wall. It's 2021, no more Trump jokes please. But people aren't fans of it. But the moment they raise their voice in dissent, they get arrested and beaten up and locked in jail forever, I think. Now, what you learn throughout this show is the demon type creatures this thing going on are people who have been sort of like bred into hybrid monsters, I think. I don't fully explain it, sort of like bred with animals, who knows. And Yukimura, along with colleague Elena, who is kind of slut really, and a guy called Makoto, who he is much more in control of the two. He keeps them in check. They go and fight them. Now, Elena has got the best weapon I've seen in a long time. In many shows, you always see characters with umbrellas, which are also guns, or parasols, which are samurai swords. Elena's got an umbrella, which isn't a gun, it's a crossbow. Yeah, literally, the bits of the umbrella fly open, and you got the crossbow. That shouldn't actually work, actually, thinking about it. It makes no sense whatsoever, but it looks cool. Now, the way Joran is presented, it's a very, very attractive anime. It's sort of like this dark, almost historic look to it. It's not grainy, not got any of those fake film filters all over it, but it just feels like it's a historical piece, despite having more modern storytelling processes in it. Now, this is not one which is going to appeal to me, but it is one which is going to appeal to some people. It's got a good story, good looking characters, and it's probably worth a watch if you like this type of show. Not for me, but maybe for you. It's also airing over at Crunchyroll. Next, we actually have a sports anime. And yeah, you've probably guessed it already. It's a male-focused, female-orientated sports anime. All muscly men, all the time, getting sweaty and physical for your pleasure. It's Burning Kabaddi. Now, they always go for these types of sports with this anime. You've had tennis, you've had volleyball, you've had basketball. You've got all manner of sports. Kabaddi may be a sport which a lot of people aren't familiar with. It was actually featured a few years ago in the fantastic Chio School Road, and it's been growing in popularity, especially in Japan, in recent years. Now, Kabaddi can be described as combat TIG. It's one team versus another team, and you've got to go into the other person's half, touch a few people, and get back to your own half before getting tackled to the ground and stopped. There are other rules about it, like having to repeat the word Kabaddi all the time, which always felt a bit gimmicky to me. That would just distract me when watching it. But I understand why we got it. Now, Burning Kabaddi is pretty much a by-the-book, male characters, sports anime. Character gets recruited to a club, doesn't really want to do it. There's another bunch of characters who like the sport there, who manage to talk him into it, or in this case, trick him into it, and he ends up having to join the club. The main character this time is Tatsuya, a former footballer who hates people. He hates contact sports, he hates sports. In general, because sportsmen are horrible. He just wants to be an internet personality. Now, I show him wanting to stream, but all he really wants to do is just stream to a camera talking about himself. I mean, that's a thing, I suppose, but he's not good at it. He's got about, you know what, I shouldn't really talk about that story myself. That's too familiar for me, having no followers. Please like and subscribe if you like this. I mean, he'd probably say the same actually. But he ends up getting tricked into joining the club by Kay, who I think is either the vice president of the club or something like that. He's a trick manipulator who effectively blackmails him into a challenge with Soma, the short, bald guy in the club, who is strong, insanely strong because of his upbringing. And yeah, he ends up joining the club. Now, Burning Kabaddi is not going to win any awards for originality, but if you like standard by the books, fun-looking sports anime, this fills all the numbers. I do recommend it if you like that type of show, but it's not going to be one for me. You can find it over at Crunchyroll. Now, to follow up on our sports anime, we also enter this season with a music anime. And it's a music anime very similar to Konohata Tomore from a few years ago. This time, the musical instrument in question is a shamisen, as our main character Setsu runs away from home. His grandfather's passed away, and he's been told by his grandfather, no longer play with shamisen until you learn why you can't be original. And of course, Setsu has looked up his grandfather and loved his music, doesn't realise what's going on and why he's been told that. But he finds his way to Tokyo and finds his way very tired, very bedazzled by the streets, and ends up bumping into a girl, Yuna. Now, she's an absolutely stunning, beautiful actress, Yuna is, and she's sort of like, okay, watch where you're going sort of thing, goes on her way. He does that again, knocks into some other people, some very, very nice businessmen, and they sort of take objection to the fact that he's bumped into them, so they start going down on him hard like a ton of bricks. And Yuna, well, she shows how kick-ass she actually is, because she literally kicks their ass and saves him, and takes him back to her place, where she basically puts him up for a few weeks. Now, Yuna is the main reason why I like the show, because her personality, her attractiveness is clear to see, but Wait is trying to be better for herself. She's an actress, she wants to become an actress, and no matter how many times her agents try and get her into doing more adult-orientated stuff, she doesn't want any of it, she just wants to be an actress. However, she is stuck with a deadbeat boyfriend, Takito, who is part of a band, quite a talented band apparently, got fans, groupies, all willing to have sex with him. Much to her annoyance when she finds out, because he's trying to fleece her for money. He wants money for a concert hall, and she's all too willing to give it to him, because she doesn't know any better. When Setsu learns about this, he sort of steps in and takes it upon himself to stop this from happening. And Takito, when he finds out what's going on, yeah. Now, the real thing which drew me to Snow White Notes is Setsu's music. The musician they had to do the shamisen in this one, the music is fantastic. There's something about the shamisen, when it's played well, it is really, really noticeable. You find yourself just sitting there, encapsulated and entranced by the music. Some music anime sounds iffy at times with music. These Snow White Notes, worth listening to. I personally like this a lot. I'm willing to give it more than one episode. I'd actually recommend it as watch it rather than just try it. But your mileage might vary, depending on how much you like melodrama, depending on how much you like sort of like stereotypical musical anime. Your mileage may vary. This is one for me. You can also find it airing over at Crunchyroll. And so we're off to an interesting start this season. I wasn't quite sure what to make of those 4 shows, but I have to be honest, I'm kind of impressed by some of them. I'll probably watch some of them more as well. Not so much the sports one, that's just me. But what about you? What did you think of the shows? Join me next time and look at them. Make sure to join me again both here and on Twitch for more anime reviews and streams. Until then, bye bye.